Well, you have three levels of problems, and we're kind of losing all three levels of education. You have K through 12. It's kind of a mess right now. It really is. Teachers don't want to teach, and when a teacher doesn't want to be there, she's not there for the money. She's there because God called her to impart wisdom to these knucklehead kids like I was. And she does that. If you take away her purpose with fuzzy math and English that nobody can really hit the grade on, then they're going to resign, they're going to quit, or they're going to punch out mentally, which is even worse. Then you look at the college situation that we have. As we are charging people more to go to LSU, Alabama is dumping money into their system, and that makes me sick, because Susan and I together have 5 degrees from LSU Baton Rouge. I proposed to her at the bell tower. We know how important that school is to our state economy. When you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to charge you $1,500 more this year to be an LSU Tiger, and they're sitting there looking at Notre Dame, Baylor, University of Alabama, and Texas A&M. Well, we're creeping up there to where the choice, if it's based on economics, they're going to go to one of those other schools. And so we're missing. So it's a double whammy, because if you've dumped more money, you better have a job to keep them here. You see, and right now, we don't have that. So we're spending a boatload of money, from 5 years old till about 25 till they get a master's degree, and then they go to San Antonio, and they participate in that tax base over there. So I think what we have to do is really look at it from a foundational standpoint and say the local people need to have control of the dollars and the curriculum, because I can text my school board member. I can go vote on a local tax. And I get so frustrated when I call my school board member and he says, Gatti, it's state mandated. We have to do it. I'm like, well, what do you mean? You're my school board member. I voted on this tax. I didn't vote on this tax. He says, I'm sorry, we had to take money out of that jar and put it in this other jar. So what we really need to do is start with K through 12 and return that power back to the local school board. Let them make the decision in the parishes where it's strong. In the parishes where it was weaker, the state needs to have a little more oversight, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. Eventually, though, if we don't start, just on a personal level, just the professors we had at LSU Baton Rouge, I've talked to them, and they've said, hey, our kids are not going to LSU. Our kids are going elsewhere, and their plan was to have their child go to school in Baton Rouge. So we have kids going from U-High, we have kids going from Catholic High in Baton Rouge, some of the star students in our state, and they're not staying at LSU or even Tulane or Loyola. They're moving away, and they're not coming back. The only other entity that is seeing an exodus like this is the modern church. Because once kids turn 18, they stop going to church. 63% of them stop going to church. And they never come back. And we're seeing that in Louisiana. So our best and brightest are leaving. So Susan and I, when Susan finished her PhD, I said, let's move back to Bossier for a year, because she got a job as an assistant professor at the Health Science Center. And that was 14 years ago. So we keep saying, hey, we're gonna go do what we're gonna go do something one day, and we're here and we love it. I get to practice law less than a mile from the house I grew up in. I get to go watch football games where I played football, and I get to see a lot of folks every day that I grew up with. So we got to return it to the locals, and that'll trickle up.